So one of my favorite things about YouTube is the ability to share interests with people that I wouldn't normally come in contact with. I can't even count the number of recommendations I've gotten through YouTube for books or products or lifestyle changes that have positively affected my life. So I wanted to take this time to share with you some things that I've really enjoyed this past month of August. Since my channel is more minimalism focused, these are not all physical objects. Some of them are objects and some are more like experiences. So, my August favorites. My first favorite is a book. I just finished it a couple days ago. And this book is The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. And it's made up of 4 simple agreements, he calls them, to live by, to help us free ourselves from the everyday BS that we put ourselves through. I won't tell you all the agreements, I don't want to spoil it for you, but my favorite one that I'm really working on in particular, is don't take it personally. He explains that however someone reacts to something that you do says more about that person than it does about you. So that's something that I'm trying to embody in my existence. 4 agreements. My second favorite is actually like a tidying tip. So my second favorite of August is keeping around 2 only of each kitchen item, or better yet, 1 of each item per person. So this just cuts down on time spent in the kitchen cleaning up, doing dishes. It cuts down on the amount of dishes that pile up in your sink. And if you have a lot of extras, like extra plates, forks, knives, that you don't want to part with, you can always put them in a box and put them in the basement or put them in a closet in case you have company or a dinner party. If you hate people and you don't have them over, you can just donate your extras. I actually wrote a blog post about that at likeminimal.com, so you can check that out there if you would like more information about that specific tip. My third August favorite is Banana Island. What's that? Well, it's not a place. Well, maybe it is actually, I don't know. But what I'm referring to is eating only bananas and some greens for an extended period of time. The main reason that I chose to do this is because I have digestion issues. So eating only one food, or in this case, one food and then greens, really goes easy on your digestive system, and it doesn't have to work as hard to process the foods. So it can use some of that extra energy to heal itself. I'm not a scientist, but if you are interested in this concept and you want to find out more reasons that people choose to do Banana Island, you can always Google it, and there are actually a lot of videos on YouTube about it. So I did notice an improvement in my digestion. I wasn't as bloated or backed up, and I continue to eat bananas for breakfast and bananas for lunch, and I've incorporated like a cooked plant-based meal for dinner, so like sweet potatoes or soup, but I am trying to keep it to like 3 ingredients or less, just to keep it more manageable for my digestive system until it heals a little bit more. So I also have a lot more energy and and I feel like I can work out when I'm eating a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet. Plant-based vegan, that's repetitive. My fourth favorite is actually two parts. There are two films that I decided to group into the same category. So the first film that I wanted to include for this month is The Punk Singer, that I watched on Netflix, and it's about the life of musician and outspoken feminist activist Kathleen Hanna. Now, I didn't really know a whole lot about Kathleen Hanna. She was the front woman of Bikini Kill and Le Tigre, but the film was just really inspiring, and my main takeaway from the film was that women need to work together and support each other rather than feed into like the societal expectations of competing with one another and comparing themselves to one another. And I think that YouTube might be a great way to support each other, a great place to connect on common interests and uplift one another. So along the same vein as the message that I took away from The Punk Singer, there is a new, I guess it's like an organization called the Lady Project in the States, and there are different, I guess you call them chapters. There are a few chapters. I know there's one in Providence, Rhode Island. I think there's one in New York City, and I live in Philadelphia, and they are having the first Lady Project event in Philadelphia in September. So I'm actually really excited. It's just a time where you can meet other women in the city and network and explore what everybody's doing. Can meet other women who are doing awesome things. So that's really exciting. The second film that I wanted to talk about was one that I also watched on Netflix, and it's called What Happened, Miss Simone, and it's about the life of Nina Simone. And she was a jazz musician. She was actually, I didn't know she was a classically trained pianist. So the documentary kind of follows her life and how it coincides with the civil rights movement and how that affected her and how she affected it, and basically how all that unfolded and what happened. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I highly recommend this film. It was very good, and if you like, even if you don't like her music, it's just, I feel like, worthwhile. My last August favorite is a blog. It's called intomind.com, and I'll link it below, but it's a blog all about minimalism and a minimalist wardrobe and capsule wardrobes and finding your personal style. And one resource that I purchased from this website is the Personal Style and the Perfect Wardrobe Workbook. Now, it's got tons of pages that kind of explain the process and help you go through the process of figuring out what exactly you want in your wardrobe, what kind of clothes best suit your lifestyle, the colors that you want, the proportions that work best for your body, and it helps you create like an action plan. So I plan on using this workbook to help me figure out what is the style that I'm going for, what pieces am I looking for, and then the hardest part, I think, will be finding companies that ethically and sustainably produce these garments at a price I can afford. So that's a whole other can of worms Another film, if you're interested, is The True Cost, and that's about fast fashion and cheap fashion and how it's destroying the planet. So if you're interested in that, The True Cost, it's a documentary. I think it's on Netflix too. So I put it in this nice fancy binder I had, and I have not started it yet. But when I do, I will make another video about the process and the result. So yeah, thanks for watching, and let me know if you're familiar with any of the things that I mentioned and your take on them, or let me know what your favorites are. If you have any recommendations for me based on what I just showed you. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to subscribe or give it a thumbs up, and go ahead and visit www.likeminimal.com